All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the second annual Global Goddess Fest, week-long virtual festival to inspire, activate, and connect female leaders, entrepreneurs, and creatives worldwide. So today we have a dear friend of mine on, Gigi. She's calling in also from California, and she's the founder of the Art Pad. So we're going to be diving into this conversation, but I want to tell you just a bit about Gigi before we get started. So she's been mentoring and guiding artists to bridge the business and the art gap since she moved back to California, San Diego specifically, from Kona, Hawaii, and that was in 2013. So while doing this work in the last few years, she created and birthed the vision of the Art Pad with the Art Pad Festival, which was this amazing nonprofit organization and devoted to global healing and the prosperity of artists and musicians. So that's the work that she's been doing. She's also in this beautiful transition of what's new and what's next. And so we'll be talking about that as well. But Gigi, I'm so happy to have you here. We met because of being in the festival scene, being producers of festivals, me with the Goddess Fest and then her with Art Pad. And so we have a lot of similarities that I'm excited to dive into today. So Gigi, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Rae.
Yeah. So maybe to get started, I know you've moved in between like LA, San Diego, and Hawaii, and so now you're in San Diego here. And I guess the first question that I have for you is, how does your environment affect the work that you're doing and the person that you are being?
Yeah, so what I've discovered about environment is that we are only as big as our environment is listening to us in.
Mm.
So in our environment, we have a space where people will listen to us as either big or small, virtually, essentially, as powerful or not so powerful. And we become the listening of the environment around us.
Mm.
And so you'll know how it goes. You go to a weekend seminar, get all powerful, gonna rule the world, and then come back, and then it's that environment with certain people pulling for a certain way. And what I've discovered about that is that really that's the listening of our environment around us. And we can, through what I'm going to share today, shift that listening of how other people are listening to us through how we're listening to them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
a great sense of empowerment and responsibility and generosity to give up what's already there for what could be possible.
Totally. And so we have a lot of women that are watching that are, on a full range of like living their dream life and doing it. And then also other women that maybe are starting to notice the gaps and are becoming inspired by the other guests, like yourself, to like really hone in and like, what am I here to do? What is my purpose? So I would love to just hear from you about, what does it mean to kind of like follow these visions that you have? You had this vision of the Art Pad and kind of this like organization for artists, and then it turned into this festival. And so what has been the process for you to receive the vision and then take the action steps to have it actually be birthed and brought to life?
So the process, is that what you're asking?
Sure, the process, or any words of advice that you would give to someone that is maybe receiving these bigger visions.
Sure. The process. So, yeah. So I believe what started the whole thing for me, of like where I really got empowered and my life started to transform in a big way, was I started affirmations. And it's really the power of words, changing the stories, the words, the visions that are already there. Because what's already there essentially is from the past, and our subconscious mind pulls with images and words from the past, listening from the past. And so to shift into this new way of being for the future, essentially what it takes is focusing on that vision every day, speaking those words of life over us every day, and persevering and continuing in that on a daily basis. And yeah, it's really just putting enough time in consistently to have something come to pass, and working on it every day. So I created a plan. Hey, look at that. I created a plan. When I created ArtPad, I put together a plan and I wrote everything out. I wrote out the action steps. And how I created it was I started backwards from the event and all the final measures of effectiveness. And then I worked backward week by week of what would be in place, essentially, when that was finalized. And then I put team members in place who would be taking certain actions. And so it wasn't just me doing everything. Because like when we have a dream, when we're building something, we've got a dream which involves lots of different moving parts and lots of people. And what I find is that a lot of people will go out there with this big dream and not be talking to a lot of people about what it is that they're creating, or have the skills to inspire somebody where they pull them in and are creating a team. Mm-hmm. So creating a big vision involves a lot of people. So there's that. There's a lot of communication. There's a lot of sharing. When I started building the festival, I started talking to a lot of people. I was just sharing with everybody, Facebook Messenger, text messenger, like voice memo, just sharing, communicating with everybody. And it was really clear, like on the vision, like what am I creating? Like what is it? And I got really clear. I was going to move from San Diego to LA. So it's like the art scene in San Diego is not really happening. But I was talking to a friend, and she said, well, if you move to LA, it's just going to be the same thing, but over there. And I thought, yeah, the vision's not really for LA. LA's got tons of art and music, and San Diego's the city that really needs it. So I decided, you know what? Like, I have this vision for this big 24-hour fitness for artists, where we have all the tools and resources and supplies for artists open 24 hours a day. But as you can imagine, that is like such a big vision. And so I decided to start with a festival where we could do it without the walls, do ArtPad without the walls, and create it, empower the artists, create teams and teamwork and creative collaboration, have artists come together and work in teams and empower artists to be on teams. And so that's what we created instead, a festival where we create the vision, but we start on the local level, and we build essentially the bigger vision now, today, versus like someday.
Right. And I love that. Like, just start working backwards, because I think so often the big vision is so terrifying that it's like, man, I don't even understand how I could understand what the next first step would be. And so being able to go backwards is such a practical tool and skill that I think we sometimes forget about when we have these bigger than life visions of what we're wanting to create and bring to the world. So I love that as an example. And maybe any women that are out there that are watching, if you have a big vision, if you have this like big dream, this big goal that you're wanting to achieve, try reverse engineering it and see what you come up with, see what the steps are that you would need to take today and this week, and just get into action from there. So Gigi, another question, like you talk about living in your heart space versus your mind space. Do you want to kind of hone in on that?
On the heart versus the mind?
Mm-hmm.
The heart versus the mind. So the heart is the most powerful organ in the body. And yeah, would you like to ask me a little bit more specifically about like?
Sure. Yeah, sure. So like while you're being who you are, right? And in your embodiment of like who you are personally and the relationships you have personally, and then also in your embodiment of like who you are as a businesswoman, as a creator. How do you balance out the energies of being in the heart space versus the mind space? And is there one that you rely on more, or
Oh yeah, the heart, always the heart. The
okay.
heart always wins. Yeah, live in the heart, go to the head for to access, and then always come back to the heart. Um, Essentially, what I'll say about the heart is to be in communication from a space of love. Um, yeah. So our okay. So we are either thinking or we're communicating, and when we're communication, we speak out of the heart. Um, like the old scripture says, out of the heart the mouth speaks. So when we speak, we're coming from a place of like what's in depth in our heart, and how to transform the heart, which is essentially the subconscious mind, is through, there's only two ways to transform the subconscious. One is emotional impact, which is like we'll have a life transforming event, it will get our emotions involved. Or it's through repetition. So you'll hear teachers repeating themselves a lot, saying the same thing over and over and over and over. So it's the repetition that transforms us, that gets us to really be centered on this one thing, and and get it, understand it, live it, breathe it, all that. So yeah, when we access our heart through emotional impact and through affirmation or repetition of something on a daily basis, we will transform our heart and live that thing that we're accessing. So yeah, to live from a heart-centered place, it's to get a lot of emotion going. So listening to a song. So one thing I did to really manifest was I created like a vision board, but it was like a mind, it was almost like a mind movie where I put a PowerPoint presentation together of slides of my images, and then I put a song behind it.
How cool.
And that song I really liked got me into the emotion of it while I was looking at the vision board. And then the emotion came through while I was looking at the images, and I did that over and over every day. And I mean, the whole thing came alive. Like that whole vision came alive. It was like Hawaii, and I went to Hawaii and I traveled the world, and I met my fiance, who I'm not with anymore. But yeah, it was essentially through the emotion and the vision and the practicing it every day where it really came alive. So that heart, the emotion, and the repetition that makes the heart come alive.
Wow, I love that. I have always done a vision board each year. It's part of my mom and I's tradition. And I've never done a virtual vision board. So I'm so excited to try that out. I love that idea. Thank you. So do you have anything else that you'd love to share with this audience that's watching right now, before, as words of inspiration or motivation, or any other tools that you want to leave with them?
Yeah, and before I get to that, I would like to say one thing that we could create together is like another video, is a virtual vision board experience where we share with people maybe a live video or something, like creating a virtual vision board with PowerPoint and a song and putting that together. That could be another thing to create.
So everyone stay tuned.
Yeah. Another thing I'd like to share is how we can transform our environment through the power of our listening, and how we can like cause people to be from their future versus like how they are, and we transform that through our listening. So a few words on listening, essentially. So I have a scripture I'd like to share about listening, and it's It's from the book of Mark, and it says, if anyone has ears to hear, let him hear. And this was Jesus talking, and he said, take heed what you hear. With the same measure you use, it will be measured to you. And to you who hear, more will be given, but whoever does not have, even what he has, will be taken away from him. So in our listening, it says to take heed with what you're listening, or how you're hearing, because how we're listening and we're hearing with someone, that's what we're going to be given back. And I've recently become very aware of how I'm listening. And so essentially how we listen is that the world is a certain way, and people are a certain way, and I am a certain way. Like, the world is like this. Japan is like that. My dad is like this. And so there's a certain way of being out there, and then there's a certain way of being inside as well. So I am not good at X. I'm not good at math. I don't know how to X. And so how we communicate, or how we're listening to ourselves and how we're listening to other people is how we're creating it to be. Does that make sense so far?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not necessarily so that people are a certain way and that we are a certain way. We are creating it with our speaking and our listening. And like in the chakras, it was just coming to me how we focus a lot on the mouth, on the communication,
Mm-hmm.
not always paying attention to that the ears and the mouth are for communicating when you have two ears and one mouth. And so communication is speaking and listening.
Yeah.
And what we say first comes from how we're listening. So if we're having dialogue with somebody, who they are for us underneath the surface, kind of like what's in the background of our listening of them, is how we are going to be dialoguing with them, and it determines how our conversations will go. So I recently distinguished, and distinguishing is essentially how we can access the new way of listening. So how I distinguished how I was listening was I just wrote, like, how was I listening to people? I was like writing out like who was there in my life, my mom, my dad, some important relationships, and then also some really disempowered relationships, like people I just didn't have a handle with, or just arguing, or whatever it is, and something that's not a powerful thing. And I just wrote out how I'm listening to them, like what's in the background, and then also like how that listening is gearing me up to be with that person. Like, is it going to make me resist them or withhold something for them, or force an outcome on them because I'm listening to them? Like one person I was listening to, as they're just going to be complaining. They're going to be talking about the same old, and they're just going to be saying no, no. And how that was setting me up to talk to them was just like withholding, resisting them, forcing myself on them, and like forcing like what I wanted. And what I got was like, wow, like if someone was doing that to me, I'd probably be hanging up the phone on them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started to do is I started to write out, like, how am I listening to them, and distinguish what's already there in the background, and then from there, like how that's preparing me to be with them, with like the ways of being, like controlling or forcing or manipulating or withholding or whatever it is, resisting them, resisting everything they're saying. And then really the access from there is to just give that up. Like, am I willing to put that aside, be generous, forgive, and let it go? And as soon as the answer is yes, we can literally disappear it in a moment, because the access is distinguishing it. So once we're clear on where we are in communication, we can disappear it. And so I did that with one of the people on my list recently, and I was with them after I had distinguished this and given it up and created a new way of listening for them, which was like, I created them to be like an empowered, loving, fun person to be around. And you know what showed up was an empowered, loving, fun person to be around, having a really incredible time together.
It's so
And
amazing.
I shifted that. And I've been doing this with everyone in community, like really being responsible for how I've been listening to everyone in community, my mom, my dad, my family. I did it on Thanksgiving, and the same kind of exercise. A most amazing Thanksgiving. Families showed up in a whole new way, whole new possibility. And we really have that power to transform our environment around us when we're responsible, when we're generous, we give things up, let it go. Mm-hmm. And we give it up for the possibility of what could be versus like what's already there. Mm-hmm. So listening is really powerful, especially, you get something like this, this whole week of amazing speakers, and then you go back into your environment and it's like, okay, where do I start? And we start with like the inside, like the kingdom of heaven is inside of us. The power is inside of us. And so when we're responsible for our communication, our speaking, our listening, we have then the power to create anything and transform anything around us. So my challenge is that you write out a list of at least 5 people in your life that are most important to you, and distinguish like what's there in the listening. Mm-hmm. What's there, and like how is that preparing you to be in conversation with them, and really distinguish that, and just get like how you're responsible for that, and just be 100% responsible, and it will give you so much power. It's never the other person. Yeah, but they're like this. But it's our listening that's created them to be like that. Yeah. And so distinguish how you're being, how that's gearing you up to be in communication, and then create a new possibility there of like how you will listen instead. Like how I distinguish to listen to my parents is honor, because it says to honor your mother and father in the mm-hmm. Bible. And so like honor, and then to like for community to love. And how I created you, Rae, is I created you to be like a powerful leader, a sister, and like love. Those are all the possibilities I created for our call today. And, so that's like how I created me to be listening to you. And I created it for, I'm creating it for everybody before I go to even be with them, like how I'm going to listen for them and to be in communication from that place. Yeah.
That's such a powerful exercise. Thank you so much. So everyone that's watching, these are amazing, amazing tools. So definitely if you need to pause, just go into it right away. Because I'm already starting to think myself, I'm like, oh yeah, like I can't wait to do this exercise, especially for these key people that maybe there is a little bit of dissonance, and just slight tension, or maybe major tension in some cases. So thank you so much, Gigi, for sharing that. And thank you everyone that came to watch today's video. And listen up. Let's all open our ears. I think the world could definitely use some more open ears, and maybe a little bit less talking before listening. So thank you so much for that reminder, Gigi.
Be quick to listen and slow to speak.
Yeah.
One mouth, 2 ears. Quick to listen, slow to speak.
Beautiful. Yes. Well, all right, everyone. I'll see you on the next video. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. Thanks.